Why do we love bad movies? Now, I really wanted to use this video as an excuse to just talk about The Room. Because this is my channel, it's kind of what I'm going to do. The Room is a 2003 film directed by Tommy Wiseau, and if you haven't heard of The Room, you should. It's one of the worst movies ever made, but despite all of that awfulness, despite the terrible acting and the awful cinematography and the just weirdness of it, there is a sense of sweetness and purity to The Room. There's something rather touching and heartfelt about Wiseau's incredible film. Now, I say incredible in the worst sense of the word. Now, Wiseau isn't the only director to ever make a bad movie, or as some call it nowadays, a so bad it's good movie. Directors like Ed Wood did this earlier with Plan 9 from Outer Space and Glenn or Glenda. Filmmakers like Wiseau and Wood are some of the most influential filmmakers ever. And I know that's a really weird thing to say, but let me elaborate. I think young directors and young filmmakers in general should watch these films, should watch films by Wiseau and Wood. They created movies that were so bad and yet stood the test of time. And that's kind of an accomplishment. Now, Wiseau was not the best at what he did. He wasn't a good actor, he wasn't a good director, and he couldn't write to save his life. And when everyone told Wiseau that he wasn't talented enough to make it, he wasn't gonna be the filmmaker or actor of his dreams, he wasn't going to be the next Marlon Brando. Instead of closing the door on the actor or filmmaker journey and going home, Wiseau did something rather incredible. With the help of his co-star and friend Greg Sestero, Wiseau created The Room. Not only did they create their own movie, they financed it. $6 million of Wiseau's money went into The Room. $6 million. If you watch The Room, you do not think this movie cost $6 million to make. One of the funniest stories in regards to The Room is that Wiseau actually rented a billboard on Highland Avenue in Hollywood that it cost him $300,000 over the course of 5 years. Wiseau and Sestero's success story was really quite profound for me. Everyone told Sestero and Wiseau to just give up. They told them to stop. They told them to stop pretending like this acting thing is really gonna work. They told them to pack up and go home. And they easily could have done that. There's a lot of actors, a lot of filmmakers who don't become what they dream of because they pack up and go home. And instead of packing up, instead of going home, Wiseau and Sestero made a film.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Now sure, the film they made didn't become the Tennessee Williams level drama that Wiseau had hoped, but The Room sort of owned the world. Just go on Twitter right now. Go on Facebook, go on YouTube, whatever. Go on to any social media and search The Room. There are going to be more mentions of The Room than there are of The Theory of Everything. And there's a really simple reason why that is. It's because The Room, despite its level of quality, has remained one of the most discussed films ever. You know, what really fascinates me about The Room is how bad it is. This really amazes me because we spend so much time watching The Room, quoting The Room, talking about it with our friends, but we also spend a lot of time talking shit about Wiseau. We make fun of the way he talks, we make fun of the way he looks, we make fun of everything that he's done, and yet, in a way, he's accomplished more than a lot of filmmakers would even dream of. Sure, it wasn't in the way he envisioned it. The Room has cemented itself as a film for people. You know, Wiseau actually has gone on record to say that inside The Room, it's a safe place. You can laugh, you can cry, you can do whatever you want. No one's really going to judge you when you watch The Room. And while that may not have been his original perception of the film, maybe he didn't originally want The Room to be the meme that it has become, but I think he's done something that's really quite amazing. I think the reason why we love movies like The Room or Plan 9 from Outer Space is that they provide us with a sense of security. It takes real strength and courage to share something that you have created with the world. It really, really does. So many people fear how other people are going to interpret their work. So many artists leave behind the artist's journey because they're scared of how people are going to judge their work. So many directors have just stopped trying to be directors because they're scared, because it just won't work. When a piece of your work is bottled up inside your head, or it's a file on your computer, or it's a page in your art book, no one can give it shit. That's really true. But unfortunately, no one can praise it either. Wiseau and Sestero did something rather risky. They made a movie. They let everyone comment on their film. They let people shit talk it to buggery. And yet look at them now. Without movies like The Room, I think a lot of filmmakers they'd drop being a filmmaker because they see that it's so hard to make something. But The Room shows that it's not so hard. You can do it. Anyone can do it. And no matter the result, whether it's good or bad, people might love it. People might cherish what you have created. And I think that's really, really special. If there's something you can learn from Wiseau and Sestero, it's that if you keep your art, if you keep it bottled up inside, no one can shit talk it, but no one can make it a staple of pop culture 13 years later.